often associated with clocks and lights on the clocks and everything else, which is usually an indicator for the members of Congress that they have a vote and they have to be somewhere. And our Congresswoman who's joined us tonight is in the same position. She has a limited amount of time she can spend with us, and I wanted to just throw out to her, can you share with us on some of your thoughts on leadership? What are some of the key things in leadership that you would like to share with us tonight?
Well, just kind of follow up quickly on the other things. I think we also need to make sure that we have enough standards on elected officials. There is no conflict of interest. And sometimes, a lot of times, politicians like to punt this issue and say, oh, we're going to register everyone else, but don't want to hold themselves accountable. I think it's important that you as a politician also transparent and you disclose what you are doing and if and what you are not doing. And I think it's important to have the transparency and you are not engaged in the conflict of interest. And sometimes, if we look, we have some federal or state laws, and sometimes we're actually not as good as we should be. But that's a different conversation. But we should hold ourselves also accountable, not just everyone else. As related to leadership, I'll be honest with you. Unfortunately, political system is not set up to do. Leadership, political system to, for some reasons, set up not to cause harm, especially in the United States. We have spread power, so, spread around different states and make sure that no one can do harm. So it's very, very hard to get anything done in the system, and it's meant to be. But when you punt the issue for too long, then it accumulates a lot of issues. And unfortunately, when you don't have leaders that have a backbone, because leading is taking tough political decisions because somebody's not going to like. If I sit here and blame the other side day and night, I'll get reelected. When I pick some battle, somebody's not going to like it. But ultimately, that's about some leaders willing to pick some battles at some crucial moments of time for the country and willing to say, this is important for the people, and I'm not going to worry about it. Who's going to attack me? Who is going to do what? I think it's the right thing to do, and I only care that it needs to be done for the people I represent. And that would take, guts. It take communications, it take relationship, and find some other people around you who'd be willing to go with you, because it's very difficult if you don't have a team. So that's why developing relationship and working with other people, and when you go in the war, that willing to go in the trenches with you because they know that you'll be with them. It's extremely, extremely important, like in any other, in business and politics. So attracting the leaders that willing to do it is very difficult, and I think we as a country need to do a better job with that too. And we have young Republicans. I was just talking to them next door, and we need to raise our new generations of leaders that willing to get with knowledge and understanding, because political process is complicated. If you're from other countries and think it's not messy here and hard, you need to see money spent on what you hear on TV. It's enormously difficult. You have to survive. The strongest survive. It's enormous amount of money, and the intellect comes after you in opposition. You go into tough races and you have a machine coming from you. You have to be agile, fast, and have good people helping you and good teams, and building that relationship with team when you know that is extremely important. But I think as you know, it takes few percentage of people to get stuff done in any country. And I think it doesn't take 80%, 20% can do a lot or less. More major battles were won by very few. But I think if people see you do the right thing and be authentic, people will go with you and never be afraid to pick a righteous fight and righteous battle. And we have a lot of them happening right now. We actually don't have the votes for that reason tonight. So, and we can debate if it is righteous or not, but and that's one thing. I'll be honest with you. I had huge fights with the other side, Democrat Party, and I'm very far apart in a lot of issues. Very hard for me to find common ground, even when I was able to do it when it was very important for our national security. But I hold my party even more accountable than the other side, because this is the party that I'm part of. And I'm not, this is the party that I can hold more accountable. I elect these people, I put pressure on these people. We are the team, so never be afraid to challenge your own side when your side is not doing the right thing. And I think that is the toughest I see for a lot of people in political process, because you have a machine coming at you, and then you will be worried that, that you will not be supported by that. But I think that is tests your strength and determination, and people will see that you're willing to do it, and if you not going to win the people, there are a lot of good things. You can drink champagne on the beach, there are a lot of things you can do. Politics is not the only thing, but you want to look back and say, I did what I could in the circumstances I was in, and I did the best what I could, and never regret that you didn't. You could have, you should have, and you didn't do something that was important. And that's something we need to raise our children doing that. And as a huge fan of the republic, and I know that there is we don't have a pure democracy in the United States for a reason. Pure democracy usually leads to dictatorship. It's not Aristotle said, not me, and Plato. But I think we have republic for a reason, and I think it's important to educate politicians and political people that what is the meaning of republic, what do we have to fight, what do we here, because America in the United States, we protect people's rights to life, liberty, and property. We protect. This is that I test myself. It's a bill that I'm introducing. I have a huge debate this week. The bill I'm introducing is going to be protecting people's rights. And I'm going to stop because I'm not here to come to a politician to listen to me. But I think it's important to raise people with strong views and ability to, fight for the people. And I think a lot of times it's very tough, but we need to have more leaders like that. That is leadership, when you do something that is tough and you're tested in tough circumstances, because ultimately big decisions are very difficult.
And before, if you have to leave, I wanted to make sure I got this question in. Which university did you like the most? National Economic University or Indiana University in Purdue?
Listen, I'll tell you, I actually came from University of Life, okay? This is the best.
That's
you
a
learn.
Politician answer.
No.
Both
Listen, this is the true, I mean, education is, I always say, education is a good thing to get your foot in the door, maybe, and I came from fancy college, University of Economics, when I came to the United States, and no one cared about my fancy degree. I'm like, OMG, what I'm going to do? And my first job was a bank teller for $8 an hour, and I learned a lot about the country and and learned about that I need to become, people were saying CPAs are smart. That's the whole reason I became CPA, because I could get another job. But in reality, in everything you do, if you learn, I had the tough races, and I'll be honest with you, and my party didn't support me too, okay? I fought my own party before I fought the other side, but the reason why people supported me, because I was in the trenches, and I learned two things from ground up. Any job, any profession, when you learn it from ground up, I knew how my signs are going to be the best. If the wind is not going to blow them up, because I put them for decades for other people. So I know how to create my signs quickly. I knew the people knew me, and I was able to organize much quicker. This relationship are very valuable, especially when you with people when you don't need them, and you just help them because you truly believe in the same cause. A lot of people were willing to work 24/7 for me because they believe in me, and that is something you cannot replace. You cannot pay people to go and in a huge fight and go in very really going to be attacked. People were threatening their businesses will get burned down if they support me. It was a tough races. You don't think that the stuff is here is tough? You can ask Tim. He knows the whole, because it was very tough race. But that people will go with you when they see that, and that's important, and that's your life skills, and you learn. So all of these degrees are good. I'm not against people doing degrees, but ultimately you learn from experience, and you become good only by doing something. So like when I need to do, I do some farming, but when I today need tomorrow to have a discussion about beef processing monopolies, I actually went to livestock producers this morning because I am not processing meat. I don't know how to do it, even though I do soybean farming. And I learned a lot of good things from them and the policy making. And anything you do, go to the people that do the work for decades. If you know how to, shoot javelins, you need to go talk to people that done it for years, okay? You go to the right people because only experience teaches you, and you become the best, and not be afraid to pick some dirty jobs because they teach you to be tough, and they teach you the knowledge that you'll never learn anywhere else. So that's something. So University of Life is the best skills, and try to do the work, and whatever life throw you in, never be afraid to do it.
Good. I'd just like to thank the Congresswoman for taking the time to come and speak to us today. And if any of you are ever in Kokomo, Indiana, stop by her district office and say hello to her staff.
Yeah, like I'm close to Indianapolis, and we have, Hamilton County, Indiana, #1 to raise family in the country, ranked by Forbes magazine, the one I represent. #1 in the country. So if any of you need to move, this is one of the blessed places for children. So thank you.
Congresswoman, for coming tonight.
Thank you.